Our fourth story out front, an historic announcement. The Supreme Court decided today that it will hear two constitutional challenges to same-sex marriage laws. If the court were to follow public opinion, the decision could come down in favor of gay and lesbian couples. Recent polling shows 53% of Americans think same-sex marriage should be legal. 46% say illegal. And on Election Day, voters in 3 states approved same-sex marriage. Out front tonight, BuzzFeed political reporter McKay Coppins, Tim Carney, senior political columnist for the Washington Examiner, and Maria Cardona, CNN contributor and Democratic strategist. So this is kind of big news in all of this, right, Tim? You saw the polls. Now the Supreme Court's going to get involved on this. Should this signal something to the Republican Party? Should they be saying, look, it's reached this level, we need to rethink our position on this?
Well, the polls are one thing. There's also the fact that most states don't actually have gay marriage yet. And most of those that do, it was not put in by the will of the people. I'm a Marylander. Our state did vote for gay marriage, but most of them it had to do with judges' ruling. So if the Supreme Court goes ahead and does for gay marriage what it did for abortion in Roe v. Wade and says, no, this is not in the hands of the people, we are going to say there is gay marriage, then that would, I think, do a lot to fire up the Republican base and could turn this issue on its head, and it could become a big winner for Republicans, because they would feel disenfranchised.
What about the flip side of this, Maria? What if the Republicans go that way, their base doesn't get fired up? Democrats have sort of relied, in some ways, on saying to some voters, that other party's not with you. If the Republican got with them, then does this take this off the table for Democrats?
Well, I actually think it takes it off the table, and that's good news for Americans in general. I mean, I think this issue is a little bit broader than politics, and I know that's weird to say here in Washington, but what I think the problem with the stance that the Republican Party has taken right now is that it's on the wrong side of history. And we have seen throughout history that when there's a group of people that want to deny another group of people less rights and less privileges that other Americans enjoy, you know, whether that's being on the wrong side of slavery, being on the wrong side of the civil rights movement, being on the wrong side of giving women the right to vote, being on the wrong side of interracial marriage. At the end of the day, America is moving towards giving gay and lesbian Americans the same rights to marry that all Americans enjoy, and that is where the country is heading. That is a bow that cannot be untied no matter what the Republican Party does.
McKay, it looks like the Mormon Church might also be moving at this point. They've got this new website out sort of explaining a little more in detail their view on gay marriage and really urging a tremendous amount of tolerance, I think. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this new website is mormonsandgays.org, and it represents a pretty significant effort to reach out to gay Mormons in particular and the broader gay community. You remember in 2008, the Mormon Church urged its members to get heavily involved in passing Proposition 8, which banned gay marriage in California. And ever since then, the relationship between gays and Mormons have been very strained. The church has seen itself really come under attack by gay rights advocates, and ever since then the church has tried to make efforts to kind of extend an olive branch. The most significant news here with this new website is that it included a statement where for the first time, and kind of the most clear it's ever been, the church acknowledges that sexuality is not a choice. It says that gay people do not choose to be gay, and that's significant. Now, the church has not changed its position in terms of whether what it calls a gay lifestyle.
Yeah, well, actually, let me bring that up because there's let me bring that up because there's a statement that's on that site that also says the experience of same-sex attraction is a complex reality for many people. The attraction itself is not a sin, but acting on it is. Tim, when you see something like that, it seems to me, Tim, like there's a little bit of threading the needle here too, in that they're saying, in effect, we want to, it's like many evangelicals will say, hate the sin, love the sinner.
Well, it's Catholic teaching that everybody, and I'm a Catholic, and I know that everybody is created in the image of God. And one of the problems of the anti-gay marriage movement is that some of it has been based in bigotry and in hating gay people or hating people for their attractions. I know the Catholic teaching and much of the Christian teaching is saying this isn't about who you are or what your proclivities are. It has to do with certain behaviors. And I think that would be an advance if we spoke about it more on that front instead of people talking about identity, because then that is what draws it into bigotry.
Maria, let me ask you a quick question here. What if the Supreme Court comes back and says, no, we're not going to uphold this idea of gay marriage laws being, or any law against them being wrong, or that gay marriage laws are necessarily right. This is a political question. Since the Supreme Court sided with health care, many people at times said it's going to be very hard for Democrats to then criticize the court if it comes down on a social issue like this against Democratic interest. What do you think?
No, I don't think it would be hard for Democrats to criticize that because, again, I do think that this has more to do than just Democratic interest. Let me change the question. Not about. Let me change the question. Not about criticizing the decision itself, but criticizing the court. That it would have to say, the notion being that Democrats might have to say, we recognize the court in its wisdom, we respect the court, we just disagree, which is a fine point because sometimes people don't do that. Sure. I mean, I think that there's a fine line there, but I think that Democrats and rights activists can be very clear if the Supreme Court comes down on the side of not giving gays and lesbians the same rights as other Americans have to marry, that they would be wrong. Because they would be wrong. They would be on the wrong side of history.
There's different questions here. The question isn't just will the Supreme Court rule for gay marriage or against. It will be will the Supreme Court take it out of the hands of the people. In other words, in California, the people voted and said they opposed it. And so we've got kind of three different things. Will they say you can't have gay marriage? Will they say it's up to the states? Or will they say you must have gay marriage?
They could also say that they don't even that all of these other groups don't even have standing to bring this to the court and not even deal with the issue itself. Let me have you jump in here, McKay, with the last part here, McKay, if you would, because President Obama himself has suggested at times in the past that he thinks this is sort of up to the states. It seems like in a lot of ways he doesn't really believe that, but he suggested that, again, yes, there's an evolution, as Maria suggests, it's happening in this country, but evolution takes time. And the notion that people may say, well, 6 months from now it'll all be settled, I'm not so convinced of that. Are you?
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is going to take probably generations for it to get settled. And also remember that President Obama in 2008, when he still opposed same-sex marriage, cited religious reasons as part of the reason. And I've never heard President Obama fully explain his religious rationale and the evolution that he went through in those terms. But I think that churches like the Mormon Church, the Catholic Church, other churches are going to play a big role here in helping, the country come to reconciliation as far as what they think about this issue. So that's an important thing to watch, not just the court battles.
And there may also be a governor on the engine that keeps it moving forward, but at a very slow pace. Tim, Maria, McKay, thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Tom.